ethical sensitivity has been developed. Once you have been able to identify a situation involving an ethical dilemma, then the next step is basically to explore different courses of actions. What are the options available to you? Cost benefit merits statements. What are the costs involved in that option and what are the benefits that you will get?
More ethical is a quantitative.
Again, it depends on the nature of the option, both quantitative as well as qualitative.
Difference between ethical issue and ethical dilemma.
Ethical issue and ethical dilemma. Generally, ethical issues entail ethical dilemmas. Whenever you are facing an ethical issue, it basically means that there is a conflict that you are facing. There is a conflict between two.
And if we can solve that issue just by
Ethical intuition.
I talk ethical issue and ethical dilemma.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Generally, in any ethical issue, an ethical dilemma is involved. Okay, when you are facing an ethical issue, basically it means a conflict that you are facing. A conflict between two goods or two bads. Okay, so that conflict is known as ethical dilemma. So both are used interchangeably.
So moral agent means one who takes the decision.
Yeah, moral agent is individual. The individual, the decision-making entity. It could be an individual, it could be an institution, it could be the society. Okay. Whatever the decision-making entity is.
Moral accountability.
Moral accountability.
It's a moral answerability.
Yeah. So whether you can be held morally accountable for your actions. See, there are two kinds of accountability. Legal accountability and moral accountability. Okay. So legal accountability arises when you violate some law. But morals and ethics are not same as laws. Yesterday we discussed the relationship between ethics and law. Okay. So ethics is about propriety. It's not about legality. Okay. So even if you have not violated any law, then also your action must be proper. It must conform to ethical standards. Are you understanding? For example, if you are sitting in a metro, okay, and somebody needy comes, you are sitting and some needy, some old woman or some elderly person comes. Now there is no law which says that you should get up and offer the seat to the other person since he or she is more needy. But it's a question of ethics. It's a question of propriety. Okay, so you need to make a distinction between legal accountability and moral accountability. You might not be legally accountable, as in a law might not prescribe it or prohibit it, but it's a question of morality. Anything else?
So, you said about moral agent, decision-making entity, as far as agent is concerned, what I think is a person who is giving us alternatives, providing us I am facing a deal, okay, so I have to give alternatives, okay, that is no issue, you have that alternative. So agent can be like that, if we suggest you the alternatives.
Agent will not suggest alternatives. Moral agent is any entity. It can be an individual, it can be an institution. For example, an organization. An organization, when it is sort of formulating its code of conduct.
But a person, or institution, or individual taking a decision cannot be called agent. Why, sir? Because the agent is a person who is aiding.
What is the definition of agent? It does not mean a person. Agent, the literal meaning is not person. Agent can be any entity.
It's providing the aid.
Agent is not providing aid. Agent is facing the situation of ethical dilemma. I am a moral agent. You can be a moral agent. This institution can be a moral agent. Okay. And when we face an ethical dilemma, then we undergo the process of ethical reasoning. That moral agent undergoes the process of ethical reasoning. Agent does not provide any aid. Agent faces the dilemma and then takes a decision on the basis of ethical reasoning, the 4 steps that we discussed yesterday. So anybody can face a moral dilemma. I as an individual can face a moral dilemma. This institution as an organization can face a moral dilemma.
But if we take the example of I can take the person. I need to reach it, but I find the person who is an agent and he is giving the so
Oh, that is a different agent. Those are middlemen.
Yes, sir.
आप एजेंट का बात कर रहे हैं, रियल एस्टेट एजेंट, ब्रोकर्स, वो एजेंट अलग है. ये एजेंट इज एन एंटिटी.
But there these are different scenarios. The agent is the role is different. Ethics, the individual.
Yeah. In theory, agent means different thing. Generally, agent, जब हम लोग in day-to-day world, when we talk of agents, they mean middlemen, brokers. They, not in theory, not in ethics. In theory or in social sciences, agent means any entity. It could be an individual, institution, even the society could be an agent. Okay, and any community could be an agent. Any entity.
So, determinism and free will theory, both are same.
Correct. Determinism and free will. So determinism theory only says that human beings are not free agents. They are not autonomous agents. There is no free will. So if I am doing something, I do not have the free will to do it. I am doing it because I have been asked by some higher power to do it. That's why I cannot be held accountable for my action, because it wasn't my will to do it. I was instructed by some higher authority. Okay, that's why it is part of ethical skepticism. And that's why ethical skeptics believe that you as a moral agent cannot be held accountable for your actions because you did not do it voluntarily. You are not a free agent.
So, using public resources for private use, that can be a legal issue.
At present, yes, it can be a legal issue, but it's more a question of propriety again. For example, I gave you the example yesterday. I have my official car. I use my official car. I give my official car to my wife for shopping. Now there is no law which says that I should not do it. At present, we do not have any specific law. It's a question of propriety. That official car has been given to me for official use. If I am using it for my personal consumption or personal purpose, okay, it's a violation of public trust. I understand. That car has been given to me because I am a public servant. Okay, so that I could discharge my functions as a public servant. If I am using it for my personal use, again, I cannot be jailed for it because there is no law that I am violating. As such, at present in India, we do not have any law. But it's a question of propriety. Again, ethics is different from law. Ethics is a question of propriety. It's improper for me to do. Anything else on yesterday's class? So yesterday we discussed the concepts of ethics, morals, values. We discussed fallacies in ethical reasoning. We discussed importance of ethics in human life at an individual level and at a societal level. Okay. Then we discussed different dimensions of ethics. Okay. Which are the three dimensions of ethics? Meta-normative and applied ethics. So within meta-ethics, we discussed the concepts of nationalism, regionalism, patriotism, etc. You can expect a question on these issues. Then we discussed ethical skepticism. These are challenges to moral accountability. Ethical skepticism can also be termed as challenges to moral accountability. The ethical skeptics believe that it is very difficult for human beings to follow ethics. Okay, and there were two categories of ethical skeptics that we discussed.
So, you told the morality of an action can be typically voluntary or intention. Is there determinate of ethics?
No. Is that determinants? No. These are the factors that need to be taken into consideration while assessing the morality of any action. Okay, whenever we are assessing whether you can be held accountable for something that you did or not, those three factors have to be considered. Whether the action which you committed was voluntary or involuntary, what was the purpose, whether you had the intention to commit the action or not, and third, the circumstances in which actions. Okay. So while assessing the morality of any action, we will use these three factors. Okay. Then we started with normative ethical theory and the process of ethical reasoning. Okay. What are the 4 steps in ethical reasoning? And ethical character. Okay. So basically, whenever you are facing an ethical dilemma, you have to undergo the process of ethical reasoning. Okay, and in the process you also use normative ethical theories. Okay, then we started with our discussion on normative ethical theories. The first theory that we discussed was teleological theory or consequentialism. Okay, so what are the three forms of consequentialism? Which were the sub theories that were discussed? And role utilitarianism. So, as far as examination is concerned, we have to use rule utilitarianism. Ethical egoism and act utilitarianism are not relevant for us. Okay. So, in rule utilitarianism, we ask two questions. By assessing the morality of any action, we ask two questions. What are the long-term consequences of my action or decision? And second, what will happen if everybody as a rule starts doing the same thing? Okay. Then we discuss problems or issues with consequences. Okay. The second theory that we started our discussion was deontology. Okay, deontology. It is essentially duty-based or rule-based ethics. Utilitarianism or consequentialism focus on consequences of the action. Deontology focuses on the nature of the action itself. Okay, not concerning itself with the consequences of the action. Okay. So I told you that there are two most popular versions of deontology: Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative and Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness. So I think we did Kant's categorical imperative. Okay. So Kant's categorical imperative के दो principles क्या हैं? Universal law principle and end in itself principle. Okay, we discussed these two principles. We also discussed examples. Again, always try to give as many examples as possible. Any question, do not write too much of theory. Okay, 2-3 lines of theory. If you have to write a 150 words answer, just 40 to 50 words of theory.
So will you have any examples? Can you give personal examples?
Absolutely.
Can you give?
I mean, it is not just okay. You have to focus on giving personal examples. The first priority should always be personal examples.
So initially you say leaders.
That is the second. If you are not able to find any example from your own personal life or from the life of people around you, life of family and friends, then examples from the lives of other leaders and followers. Again, we will discuss how and where personal examples have to be given. But keep in mind that in theory questions, not case studies part, I am talking about part A of ethics, which is theory part. Okay, always you have to focus on giving personal examples from your own life. That is why I told that the third module or the third component of ethics syllabus is self-introspection. Okay, analyzing your own strengths, weaknesses, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you angry. Okay, all these things you need to know, and then you have to create a list of examples. We will discuss how to create a list of examples. Okay. So these things were covered till yesterday. Okay, you can take the recording and start. Okay, so now we'll start with Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness. You have heard of John Rawls? John Rawls was a political philosopher, and he came out with this theory called Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness. Here he talks about a concept called veil of ignorance. What does veil mean? Veil. Veil, V-E-I-L, of ignorance. Good. Yeah. Like something which is used to cover, like a burqa. Okay, veil of ignorance. So basically Rawls asks us to imagine a situation where a group of people have gathered together to form the fundamental rules of living. Assume that we 6 of us are the only 6 people remaining on the planet. Okay, and we have gathered together to basically formulate the fundamental rules of living. Okay, how we should live together. Okay. and none of us are aware of our background. For example, I do not know whether I am a male or a female, what my economic class is, what my caste, religion is, what my nationality is, whether I am physically able or not, whether I am mentally able or not. Okay, none of us are aware of our background. So we are under a veil of ignorance. Okay, we are ignorant about our background. Okay. All. I do not know about my background, I do not know about others' backgrounds. Okay, so we are, all of us are under a veil of ignorance about ourselves and about others. Okay. Now Rawls says that when we are formulating the rules as to what is the rules that we should follow, we have to anticipate the possibility that I might be the most disadvantaged person. Are you understanding? So we collectively have to formulate rules anticipating the possibility that I might belong to like a poor family, I might not be physically able, I might not be mentally able. So all of us anticipate that they can be the most disadvantaged person in the society, and accordingly the rules should be followed. Accordingly the rules should be framed. Okay. So essentially this means that when they are framing the rules, they should follow the principles of ensuring social justice, economic justice, and political justice. So these are the three fundamental principles that should guide us when we are formulating the rules of living. Are you understanding? Okay. What does social justice mean?
Upliftment of weaker sections.
Yeah.
To bring them into the mainstream.
Okay. All of you remember the preamble? All of you have read the preamble of the Constitution, rather to the Constitution. Okay. वहाँ पर there are two terms that have been used, just like equality of status and of opportunity. The social justice essentially means creation of equality of opportunity. Okay. So basically, having special concern for the underprivileged and marginalized sections of the society. Okay. Economic justice means reduction in inequalities, reduction in inequality in the concentration of income and wealth. Okay. And political justice means right to elect and to get elected. Okay. All the people should have the right to elect, and they should also have the right to get elected. Okay. Now, these principles of social justice, economic justice, and political justice are generally used, they are not used in personal decision making. They are used in the context of larger functioning of the state. Okay, in the formulation of public policies. Are you understanding? So this theory is not to be used for personal decision making when you are making decisions at an individual level. This theory is used, these principles are used by the state, okay, in matters of public policy formulation. For example, say a case study comes that you are the secretary of a particular department and you are in charge of formulating a particular policy. Say you are in charge of formulating a land acquisition and rehabilitation policy. Then, as a policy maker, you will be guided by these principles. Or you have to formulate a policy on refugees. Okay? Then you will be guided by Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness, which ensures social, economic, and political justice. Yeah? You didn't understand. You didn't understand a particular thing, or you didn't understand the veil of ignorance. Veil of ignorance is a hypothetical situation, which has been proposed by John Rawls. What John Rawls says: imagine that a group of people have gathered together to formulate the fundamental rules of living. Okay, imagine we are the only people left on the planet. Okay, and then we have to formulate rules. Okay, how will we live in the society? Okay. Now all of us are under a veil of ignorance. You understand veil? Veil is something that is used to cover. Okay. Veil of ignorance means we are ignorant about our background, about our social background, economic background, okay, cultural background, nationality, whether we are physically able, whether we are mentally able, etc. Okay. So when we are having the discussion, okay, what rules should be formulated.
Means is it necessarily that veil of ignorance, or we should not go for the veil of ignorance? We should consider or we should not consider the paradigms? What do you think?
We do not know about. It's a hypothetical situation. You understand a hypothetical situation? It's a hypothesis. It's an imaginary situation. Okay. So essentially, we are assuming that we are under a veil of ignorance, all of us. Okay. And when we are under a veil of ignorance, while formulating policies or rules, okay, we have to, each one of us has to anticipate the possibility that I might be the most vulnerable, most marginalized, okay, most disadvantaged in the society. Taki, whatever rules that we are framing, then they would be fair. Are you understand? They would be fair to the marginalized sections of the society. So this theory is used in when you have to design a public policy and when you have to ensure equity and redistributive justice. Do you understand? So if you are a policy maker and if you are a civil servant or you are a minister, okay, and you are in charge of framing a policy, okay, so you should follow Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness whenever you are in charge of formulating a policy.
So those three things should be considered.
Yeah, social justice, economic justice, political justice, these principles should be considered while framing a public policy. And I gave you the example if you are framing a land acquisition and rehabilitation policy. Okay, so it should be based on the foundation of these three principles.
So in this Rawlsian theory taking consider of consequence, social justice, economic justice.
Social justice, it's not a consequence. It is an end in itself. It has its intrinsic value. Okay. Equity, redistributive justice, socio-economic justice. Okay. These are values which are end in themselves. Are you understanding?
Yes, I understand.
Do not confuse this theory with consequentialism. Consequentialism is different. Okay, yeah, we are not focusing on consequences. Essentially, keep in mind that while you are framing any policy in the context of larger functioning of the state, you should keep in mind these principles. They are not to be used for personal decision making. Right?
We simply creating a level playing field so that nobody can decide.
Yeah, so that is creating a level playing field is essentially creation of equality of opportunity. See, equality of status is something that cannot be guaranteed. We all come from different backgrounds. Some of us are from rural areas, some of us are from urban areas. Okay, our economic class is different, our religion caste is different, our life experiences are different. So equality of status is something that cannot be guaranteed. What can be ensured is equality of opportunity, irrespective of our background, irrespective of whether we are rich, we are poor, what religion, what caste, what region we belong to. Opportunities should be same. Okay, so that is the essence of this theory, creation of equality of opportunity. Okay. So if any question comes, either in theory part or in case study part, where you have to take into account the concerns and needs of vulnerable and marginalized sections of the society, वहाँ पर you have to use this theory. Okay. In fact, UPSC में a question had come on veil of ignorance specifically, 2015. Discuss the Rawlsian concept of veil of ignorance. Okay. The next theory, deontology, we have done. Kant's categorical imperative and Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness. Next theory is virtue ethics. Or human excellence theory. Virtue ethics or human excellence theory. This theory focuses on the the character of the moral agent rather than consequences or duty. According to this theory, the objective of human beings is to achieve excellence in life. The objective of human beings is to achieve excellence in life, which can be achieved by following certain virtues. Okay, what is a virtue?
Good characters.
Yeah, so basically values can be of two kinds, good values or bad values. Good values are called virtues, bad values are called vices. Virtue and vices. V-I-C-E, vices. Okay. So, see, this theory has been developed by ancient Greek philosophers, Aristotle and Plato. You have heard of Plato and Aristotle? Okay. So, this virtue ethics theory or human excellence theory has been developed by them. So, Plato, in his treatise, his work known as the Republic, Plato in his treatise has described 4 cardinal virtues. Okay, justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom. Okay, so Plato in his treatise, the Republic, described 4 cardinal virtues which all human beings should follow. Treatise means some work, literary work. Okay. So he described 4 cardinal virtues: justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom. Okay. Justice means fairness, social, economic, and political justice. We talk. Courage means overcoming fear. Courage does not mean absence of fear. Courage means overcoming the fear. Okay. तो माउंटेन ड्यू का ऐड आता है ना, डर के आगे जीत है. That is correct. As human beings, being fearful is natural. There is nothing wrong in being fearful. Okay. Temperance means living a life of moderation, and not eating too much, not indulging in physical pleasures too much. Okay. Living a life of moderation. Okay. Avoiding extremes. Temperance. Okay, and wisdom means prudence. Okay, prudence. That is developing the judgment, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. Okay. So these are the 4 cardinal virtues. Aristotle said that a virtue is a mean between 2 vices. You might have heard of the golden mean principle of Aristotle. Okay, so Aristotle said that we should follow the principle of golden mean in our life. Okay, what is golden mean? Basically, following these virtues, and these virtues are a mean between 2 vices. For example, courage is a mean between recklessness and cowardice. Again, golden mean basically means taking the middle path, avoiding extremes. है ना? Buddhism में भी है मध्यम मार्ग, middle path. Okay. Similarly, Aristotle also gave his concept of golden mean, and he said that any virtue is a mean between two vices. So courage as a virtue is a mean between recklessness, which is one extreme, and cowardice, which is another extreme. Are you understanding? Okay. So as human beings, what we should do? Our objective is to achieve excellence in human life, and excellence can be achieved by following certain virtues. Plato described these four cardinal virtues. Aristotle का वर्क कौन सा है? The Politics. Aristotle का जो मेन treatise है, जैसे Plato's treatise is known as the Republic, Aristotle's treatise is known as the Politics. Okay. And Aristotle in his various literary works, he added to the list of these virtues, and they said that a virtue is a mean between two vices. A virtue is a golden mean between two vices. Okay. Now the question is how to inculcate different virtues. Okay. It is okay, we should follow these virtues, but how to learn these virtues? Okay. So both Plato and Aristotle said that these virtues can be learned through the process of social observation and emulation. ये virtues कैसे सीखेंगे? How will we learn these virtues? How will we acquire these virtues? Through the process of social observation and emulation. Emulation का क्या मतलब होता है? Emulating the good qualities of others. Okay. So basically, human beings are social animals. We are part of a society. Okay, we observe different entities, we observe other human beings, other individuals, our friends, our relatives, etc. And then we try to emulate the good habits from them. We try to emulate virtues from them. Okay. So they, both Plato and Aristotle, they focused a lot on this process of social observation and emulating the good qualities of others. Clear? Deontology में one thing I missed, issues with deontological theory. Deontology जो हम लोग categorical imperative, basically issues with Kantian theory of categorical imperative. We discussed Kant's categorical imperative yesterday. Okay, one thing that I forgot to discuss was what are the issues. That we had discussed issues with utilitarianism. So the first issue with Kantian's categorical imperative is totally neglecting the consequences might not be either feasible or desirable. Totally neglecting the consequences might not be either feasible nor desirable, especially in the public sector. Okay, so Kant's categorical imperative says that we should follow our duty and obligations under all circumstances. Okay, irrespective of the consequences. Now, theoretically, it is a good argument to make, but in practice, it is very difficult to implement, especially in public sector. Okay. I'll give you a simple example. Okay, there is an IAS officer called Durga Shakti Nagpal. She is a UP cadre IAS officer, and a few years back there was a controversy around that. What was the controversy?
Moscow. That Moscow was being built on a government land. She came and she convinced the people that this place is a public place, you shouldn't build it. So people understood, but the political spirit was said, this could happen to the communal between two groups. So this was the issue. She was transformed.
Yeah. So yeah, most part is correct.
To the law is made as per that law that Moscow is demolished. So that the other habits was
Mosque wasn't demolished. Basically, mosque wasn't public land. Okay, she had started a campaign against all illegal encroachments and all illegal buildings which were illegally constructed. Okay, so one day she came to know about this mosque whose wall was built on public land. Okay, so she went there basically with the intention of demolishing the wall of the mosque because it was an illegal encroachment. Okay. Also, there was Lucknow High Court verdict that all such illegal encroachment should be removed. So she was doing her duty as per the rule. She was, there was nothing wrong in whatever she was doing. She went there as per the rule, as per the law, that was an illegal encroachment and it was required to be demolished. Okay. However, again, when you are in public life, you have to balance the consequences. You have to weigh the consequences of your action. Okay. Now, if Immanuel Kant would have been there, what he would have suggested? He would have suggested to demolish the mosque or demolish the wall of the mosque, not the mosque. Okay. Because it's part of your duty. Okay. But again, when you are in public life, public interest is of paramount importance. So as he said, a lot of people had gathered there. Okay, because in India, religion is a very sensitive issue. Okay, and had she demolished the wall of the mosque, it might have led to serious law and order situation, communal riots. Okay, so following our duty and not thinking about the consequences is neither feasible nor desirable, especially when you are in public life. When you are in public life, when you are a public servant, all your actions should be guided by just one factor: public interest. Okay. So it is not possible to ignore the consequences of your action. Okay. Second, see again, just write 2 lines of theory and then give these examples. If any question comes, yes, do not write too much of theory. Focus on these current examples which happen around you. Okay. Second, it suffers from moral fundamentalism. It suffers from moral fundamentalism. It oversimplifies moral dilemmas or ethical dilemmas. Fundamentalism. Okay. It oversimplifies ethical dilemmas and does not take into account situations and does not take into account situations when there is a conflict between two virtues or 2 equally important values. When there is a conflict between 2 virtues. Okay, so categorical imperative, what does it say? It asks us to follow our duty under all circumstances. Okay, so now
regarding that example of question we explicitly mention it or we have to just
don't take the name. Say an IS officer of UP cadre. Describe the incident, what happened. Don't take names. In your examples, don't take name of any individual. Whether an IS officer, IPS officer or a politician, don't take names.
Except the accepted leaders.
Which accepted leaders?
Accepted leaders.
Who are the what is that?
By giving the examples,
those are not leaders, they are philosophers. Philosophers, Aristotle, Plato, Gandhi, Nehru.
So except these personalities.
Current politicians, administrators, okay, those individuals you should not take name. Don't take name of Narendra Modi or Arvind Kejriwal or Durga Shakti Nagpal or even political parties you can use in your answers, BJP, economists, etc. But again, don't current ruling party, don't pass your value judgments in your answers.
Who are the public entities? Persons. I used to see quotations for political parties. Apart from that, one of friends here, I quoting the examples. Also, one of friends, the relatives. Okay, who the name?
One of my friends, one of my colleagues.
Okay, they are quoting me.
Okay. So categorical imperative does not tell us what to do when there is a conflict between two equally important roots or two equally important values. Okay. So it oversimplifies moral dilemmas. Okay.
So moral fundamentalism
What does fundamentalism mean?
is between, it's going to radical.
Extremism. Categorical imperative tells us to follow a duty under all circumstances.
It suffers from means it has the quality of moral fundamental.
It's a bad quality. We are criticizing it. That's why we are saying it suffers from.
It suffers not the lack of
Lack of
moral fundamental.
suffers from the it has. Suffer. I am suffering from fever. I have fever. Lastly, by basing his entire theory on disinterested will, Kant ignores extra rational factors. Extra rational factors such as emotions, sentiments, tradition, culture, intuition, etc. Such as emotion, sentiments, tradition, culture, intuition, etc. Okay. So yesterday we had discussed this disinterested will. And basically the entire theory of categorical imperative is based on disinterested will. Okay. Basically you should take your decision on the basis of rational factors and logic while ignoring extra rational factors. Okay. So basically it converts dynamic human beings into static machines. And as human beings we have emotions. And whenever we take any decision, there are rational factors involved, there are extra rational factors involved. In fact, now research suggests that inclusion of extra rational factors, emotions, intuition, etc., actually enhances the effectiveness of your decision. It is an integral part of effective decision making. Okay, you cannot take a decision completely based on rationality and logic. Okay, so Kant ignores that. Okay, these are the issues with Kantian categorical imperative. Okay, so we have discussed virtue ethics, human excellence theory. What is the issue with human excellence theory? Again, there are so many virtues, and these thinkers, they do not tell us what to do when there is a conflict between two or more virtues. है ना, लिस्ट जो बना दिए हैं कि virtues का कि ये follow करना चाहिए, वो follow करना चाहिए. But if there is a conflict, and in an ethical dilemma, you will face a conflict between two or more of these virtues. Then, how to resolve that ethical dilemma? What to do? Aristotle and Plato do not tell us. Okay? Yes, normative ethics. Third one. Fourth is contractarianism or social contractualism. Fourth normative ethical theory. Contractarianism. or social contractualism. This theory was originally developed by Thomas Hobbes, again a political philosopher, a political scientist. Okay, so Thomas Hobbes developed the social contract political theory. Okay, the original theory was the social contract political theory. It's a theory in political science. Okay. So, Thomas Hobbes originally developed the social contract political theory, according to which a social contract exists between the state and the citizens. So, we have the state, we have the citizens, and there is a social contract. What does social contract mean? It's not a legal contract. It's not an explicit contract, it's an implicit or a tacit contract. Okay. And according to that social contract, the citizens agree to follow the rule of law, okay, and contribute in the nation building process, okay, and in return the state provides internal and external security to the citizens, provide various public goods and services, etc. to the citizens. So there is a contract between us as citizens and the state. Okay, the state agrees to give us security, maintain law and order, okay, provide different public goods and services, and in return we have agreed to obey the rule of law, obey the law of the land, okay, and contribute in whatever way we can to the nation building process. It's a social contract. Similarly, a social contract exists between or exists in different social relationships. Okay. So, for example, between friends, okay, between spouses, between husband and wife, between parents and children. In all social relationships, there is a social contract. Okay, for example, yeah, between spouses, between husband and wife. So, under that social contract, basically there are reasonable and mutual expectations from each other. For example, when two people are friends with each other, they expect each other that they won't betray each other. Trust is the foundation of any social relationship. Okay, and when that trust gets broken, basically it's a violation of the social contract. You understand? So basically, if any question comes on social relationships, then you can quote this theory. The social relationships are characterized by a social contract between individuals involved in the relationship. Okay, and violation of trust or betrayal, etc., is a violation of the social contract that exists. Okay. In fact, you can also use this theory to make an argument against cheating. People cheat in the examination in school, colleges, everywhere. Okay. So if a question comes on cheating, okay, and you have to make an argument again. Everybody knows that cheating is bad, but in the examination you will have to use some theory, okay, to substantiate, to sort of justify, to make an argument against cheating. Okay. Then you can say that cheating is a violation of the social contract. It's a violation of the social contract between different students, between the student and the teacher, or student and the educational institution, student and the employer, prospective employer. Okay. For example, there is a social contract between different students. If one person gets good marks by cheating, it's unfair to other students who have come prepared, who have worked hard. Okay. Similarly, it's a violation of social contract between the student who is cheating and the educational institution. It's a violation of the social contract between the student and the prospective employer. Say I am a prospective employer. You have passed your examination by cheating. Now I am going to recruit you on the basis of your marks, and your marks do not correctly reflect your competence. Okay, so it's a violation of the social contract between you and me as an employer. Okay. So if any question comes on cheating, कोई case study आता है या theory में भी आता है, then you can use contractarianism to make an argument against cheating. How cheating is a violation of social contract between different stakeholders. Okay? Yeah, contract is generally not intangible, it's implicit. It's not illegal. I mean, you not generally sign a document.
One of the spouse has broken us, and he has broken a contract in a legal fashion. And paid for divorce.
That is a different issue. But in your marriage registration certificate, it's not specified that you should not violate trust. Okay, these are all expectations when you enter into a relationship. So, yeah, it's always different from a legal contract or a legal agreement. Social contract is different from legal contract. Social contract is always implicit, tacit.
So it's intangible.
Not intangible, implicit is the difference. Implicit and tacit. Okay? Tacit. Tacit मतलब जो explicit नहीं है, it's implied. Okay? Apart from that, there are few other minor normative ethical theories. For example, a contemporary normative ethical theory is care ethics. Care ethics. This theory focuses on this theory believes that caring is an ethical idea. Caring is an ethical idea. It is considered to be a feminine ethics. Care ethics is considered to be so ethics is in care. This care ethics believes that caring is an ethical ideal. Ideal. IDEAL, ideal, as an ethical principle that we should follow. Okay. It is considered to be a feminine ethics because it has been developed mostly by feminist philosophers. It states that, the theory states that men and women take decisions using different value systems. The theory states that men and women take decisions on the basis of different value systems. Men see ethics in terms of rationality and justice. Whereas women focus more on men see ethics in terms of rationality and justice, whereas women focus more on compassion, care, empathy, etc. These are extra rational factors: compassion, care, empathy, etc. Okay. So essentially, care ethics is to be used again in those questions where the underlying theme is concern for vulnerable and marginalized sections of the society. Also in your personal relationships, generally we use care ethics because when an issue arises in our personal life by dealing with family and friends, okay, we do not always follow rationality. Then emotions, sentiments, etc. take over. Extra rational factors take over rationality. So any question, any case study related to either personal and social relationships or concern for the marginalized and underprivileged sections of the society, there we can quote this theory, care ethics. You might have heard, like there is a left side of the brain and right side of the brain. So left side of the brain basically focuses more on rationality and logic, and right side of the brain focuses more on creativity and compassion, empathy, etc. So generally psychological research suggests that in men, left side of the brain is more developed, and in women, right side of the brain is more developed. Again, you cannot stereotype, you cannot generalize, okay, but by and large these are findings. Okay. So care ethics is a similar thing, that when by taking any decision, when you are facing an ethical dilemma, men give more weightage to principles of rationality and logic, whereas women give more weightage to extra rational factors, compassion, care, empathy, etc. Okay? Apart from these theories, there is also a branch within ethics known as religious ethics. Okay? So religious ethics basically focuses on teachings of different religions. What are the ethical values and ethical teachings of different religions? Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, Islam, okay, Christianity, etc., Sikhism. So we'll be discussing religious ethics when we discuss Indian ethics. Okay. So these are more or less the normative ethical theories. Again, don't read beyond these. Okay, again, there is no end to normative ethical theories, but for the purpose of examination, I mean, these theories are more than sufficient. Utilitarianism or consequentialism, deontology, categorical imperative as well as Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness, human excellence theory or virtue ethics, contractarianism, care ethics, religious ethics will be. So, itna theory is more than adequate. Again, generally questions do not come specifically from these theories. That veil of adherence was an exception. Generally, you won't be asked what is human excellence theory or what is contractarianism. You will have to use these theories as part of your answers. Usko incorporate karna hai apne answers. We will see how these theories are to be used, both like in the theory questions as well as in case studies. Okay. So, which ethical theory is the best? If you are facing an ethical dilemma, which theory you will use? कौन सा ethical theory आपको लगता है? Virtue ethics. Why?
Takes the middle part.
Takes the middle part. Okay. और कोई theory? Rawls, I told you, Rawlsian theory is not to be used in personal decision. In the larger functioning of the state, that theory is used. See, each of these theories have their own strengths and weaknesses. We discussed utilitarianism, we discussed issues with utilitarianism. We have discussed deontology, we discussed issues with deontology. We discussed issues with virtue ethics. Okay. So, in practice, we have to use what is known as ethical pluralism.
So, are there any issues with this care ethics?
केयर एथिक्स के साथ इशू ये है कि
More influence on the rational part.
yeah, and sometimes it becomes difficult to implement in practice. Okay, as a policy maker, okay, any policy needs to give emphasis on equity and redistributive justice concern for the marginalized sections of the society. But practically, every time we might not have the resources, okay, to incorporate the interest of every vulnerable section in a policy. Okay, so theoretically there is nothing wrong in it, but it is too idealistic. It becomes difficult to implement in practice. Okay, so in life or in practice, what we use is ethical pluralism. That is, there is no one single theory that can be used in all situations. In some situations, utilitarianism is to be used. In some situations, categorical imperative is to be used. In some situations, virtue ethics. In some situations, care ethics. Okay, so we adopt a multi-theoretic approach. Okay, this multi-theoretic approach is known as ethical pluralism. There is no one single theory, there is a plurality of theories. There are several theories which are to be used as per the requirement of the situation. Okay. But as far as examination is concerned, categorical imperative is very useful. In a number of places, categorical imperative can be used. See, again, in the examination, you don't have to take a practical stance. You have to take an idealistic stance. I will, as a civil servant, as a public servant, I am going to do my duty irrespective of the consequences, irrespective of the fact that I might be transferred, irrespective of the fact that I might be victimized or harassed. Okay. So again, categorical imperative conveys that you are going to follow your duty under all circumstances. The practical constraints with categorical imperative, at present you don't need to be concerned about. That you worry when you become a civil servant. As far as this examination is concerned, you have to convey to the examiner that you have that raw idealism. You are willing to do the right thing irrespective of the consequences. Are you understand? So again, categorical imperative is very useful. Not just for paper 4, even in interview. And even in the interview, they ask, like they give you different situations, different cases, and they ask for your reaction. So there, don't try to be very practical. Be idealistic, show raw idealism. Okay? Okay? So we are done with normative ethics. Third dimension क्या है? Applied ethics. So have you people read Constitution? Polity पढ़ा है आप लोगों ने? Have you read Polity and Constitution? Because when I start governance, in ethics there is no need for knowledge of Constitution or polity, but when I start governance portion, there you will be requiring knowledge of static part of the Constitution and polity, Parliament, judiciary, local governance, etc. So if you haven't read it, please read it before the governance portion start. Okay? Yeah. Applied ethics, क्या है? Applied ethics, as the name suggests, is the application part of ethics. Okay, and applied ethics is a huge domain. There are various subdomains in applied ethics. Okay, so there are various fields in applied ethics. For example, one field is bioethics. Okay, what are the issues in bioethics? Ethics of abortion. Ethics of stem cell research. Ethics of surrogacy. Okay. Then we can have social and legal ethics. Okay, here we can have issues such as ethics of prohibition. Ethics ethics of prostitution, ethics of betting or gambling. Another issue which has been in news in recent times is the Juvenile Justice Act. Okay. Then we can have another field called environmental ethics. Now we have to deal with issues such as ethics of climate change.
Political ethics.
Political ethics. They can be in many fields. These are just illustrations. And applied ethics is a huge domain. And applied ethics is nothing but your GS preparation. जो आप GS paper 1, 2, 3 का जो preparation करते हैं, that is only applied ethics. Whenever you are reading any topic or any issue in GS paper 1, 2, 3, think from the vantage point of ethics. What are the ethical issues involved? है ना? So applied ethics is nothing but your general GS knowledge. It's not, there is no theory involved here. Just you have to analyze different issues from the point of view of ethics, from the point of view of impact on different stakeholders. Okay. So I am going to discuss few issues which have been in news in recent times. Okay, and you might expect a question on these issues. But apart from these issues, you have to keep your eyes and ears open. Whenever you are reading any topic as part of your GS preparation, GS 1, 2, 3 preparation, okay, keep in mind or try to analyze if there is an ethical angle there. And if that question comes in ethics paper 4, how will you answer it? How will you analyze different ethical issues? Are you understand? For example, at present we are facing a refugee. There is a refugee crisis across the world as well as in India. Now, a question on refugee can come in paper 2 as part of your IR. It can come in paper 3 also as part of internal security. And it can come in paper 4 also because there are ethical issues also. Are you understanding? So whenever you are reading any topic, try to analyze the various dimensions. Try to think in terms of ethics. If this topic comes in ethics, how will I approach it? Okay? So जो जितने topics I can discuss in the class, I will discuss. Remaining you will have to be like you have to keep your eyes open as to what is happening around you. Okay? Let us discuss few issues. Let us start with juvenile justice. Ethics of climate change we will discuss when we discuss ethics in IR. Okay? With that we will discuss. Juvenile Justice Act you have heard? Suna hai koi? What is Juvenile Justice Act? Recently it was amended. What was the amendment and what is the act?
In this time, juvenile it's from 15 and will be treated as a permanent.
Okay. What happened? What used to happen earlier?
18.
So they treated up to 18, they are juvenile only. And they were treated for heinous crime also, they were treated as a juvenile only.
And how do we define an heinous crime?
It is like murder, rape, which mentally or physically disturbed at a high degree to any person.
Okay. So basically, Juvenile Justice Act, the original act was passed in the year 2000. Okay. Juvenile Justice Act, juvenile you understand? Juvenile means children. So Juvenile Justice Act has two parts. Basically, it deals with children in conflict with law and children in need of care and protection. So two parts. When we talk of juvenile justice, it includes children in conflict with law and children in need of care and protection. For example, orphans, homeless children, etc. Now, the debatable area or the ethics जहाँ पर involved है, that is in children in conflict with law. So earlier, as per the original act, all individuals below 18 years of age were considered to be juvenile. So if any juvenile was involved in any crime, okay, they were not tried as regular adults in a regular court. Okay, there was a juvenile justice court. Okay, it used to analyze what has happened, and then these children were sent to shelter homes or juvenile homes. Okay, where the maximum amount of stay in those homes was 3 years. Okay. Now in recent times, a lot of debate was taking place that juvenile in the age group 16 to 18 years. Okay, a lot of them were found to be involved in a number of heinous offences. Heinous offences means any offence whose punishment is greater than 7 years. Okay. So, especially this debate started after the Delhi gang rape case in 2013. Okay, one of the offenders was a juvenile. Okay, in the age group 16 to 18. So basically, a lot of debate started whether special provisions need to be there in the Act for juveniles in the age group 16 to 18 years. Okay, and recently the law was amended basically to treat juveniles in the age group 16 to 18 years as adults. Okay, and if a juvenile in the age group 16 to 18 years is found to be involved in an heinous crime, first of all, psychological assessment would be done. Okay, whether he or she was aware of the consequences of his or her action, whether the crime that they committed in full awareness and full consciousness. And once it is shown that they were aware of the consequences, then they could be tried as regular adults and sent to regular jails. This is what has happened. Okay. Now, what is the ethical issue here? Whether the amendment can be ethically justified. You can get a question whether the recent amendment in Juvenile Justice Act, what are the ethical issues involved in the amendment and whether the amendment can be ethically justified. Okay. So again, any question you have to highlight both the sides of the picture. What are the arguments for amendment and what are the arguments against amendment, and then you have to give a balanced conclusion. Okay, if a question comes on Juvenile Justice Act, you will have to highlight arguments for, arguments against, and then conclusion. So let us first discuss arguments for. First of all, do you agree with the amendment? Do you think amendment is right? Juveniles in the age group 16 to 18 years should be tried as adults. What do you think? Yes? Why?
The act is like an adult.
The act is like an adult.
Because in that particular age, the crime is increasing in that particular age. Means they have to be treated as adult to create the sense of fear.
Create deterrence. Any other argument? Again, we are discussing arguments for amendment. Yes. If you agree with the amendment, what are the arguments that you will get? So, one of the arguments is to create deterrence. It would create fear.
Deterrence means
Deterrence means it will deter others from doing the same. You need to carry a dictionary. Deter means it will prevent others. It will create a fear. I will be, if a law is there, if a strong law is there, I would be deterred from doing something because of the fear of law. Any other argument for the amendment?
Education perspective, from that perspective, almost everybody completes their graduation after 15, most of the people, and
Complete some graduation,
matriculation. Graduation. So they have a rational thinking by the days. I mean, not everybody, but most.
You are saying that by 16 years of age, they have developed that maturity to be aware of what they are doing.
Yeah.
That is.
So that bringing the amendment would become a hindrance for them. So since they have developed that aspect of rational thinking as well.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Any other argument for the amendment? let us discuss arguments for amendment. What are the objectives of criminal justice delivery system? You understand criminal justice delivery system? What do you mean by criminal justice delivery system? Who all are involved in the criminal justice delivery system?
Judiciary.
Or
Police.
police and
Criminals. Why is it judiciary?
what the judicial bodies do not deal with criminal cases.
Offender.
Forensics. Okay. Executive के तो पुलिस और ये सब executive नहीं है.
Offender.
Offender. So basically there are four components of criminal justice delivery system. Whenever a crime takes place, okay, the first authority to deal with the crime is the police. Okay. Then after police, prosecution and forensics. Then judiciary, and then jails. Okay, these are the four components of criminal justice delivery system. Now, any criminal justice delivery system in any country, it has three objectives. First, deterrence. Second, restitution. And third, reformation. ठीक है? तो criminal justice delivery system कहीं भी होता है, in any country, it has three objectives: deterrence, restitution, and reformation. So the first objective is to create deterrence, as we discussed. And a strong criminal justice delivery system will deter others from doing illegal or unethical things. Restitution means giving justice to the victim. Okay, a crime has been committed against somebody, so he or she needs to be given justice. That is restitution. Okay, by punishing the guilty. Third is reformation. Okay, that the objective of punishment is not revenge, but to reform that person, so that when the person comes out of the jail or whatever punishment he or she has been given, he or she should come out as a reformed person, so that they do not commit such things in the future. Okay, these are the three objectives. So when we discuss arguments for Juvenile Justice Act, the focus is on deterrence and restitution. First of all, generally the argument is that there has been an increase in juvenile crimes in recent times, and therefore a strong law is needed to create deterrence. Okay. Secondly, the rights of the victim should be balanced with the rights of the juvenile. That is restitution. Okay. So the juvenile committed some crime against somebody, and therefore treating juvenile very softly would be violating the rights of the victim. Third argument is what the maturity wala argument. Nowadays, again, why 18 years is taken to be the sort of threshold or benchmark in every law. Okay, even international laws, we taking international conventions, if we see, okay, all people below 18 years of age are considered to be non-adults. So there is a reason why 18 years is considered to be the threshold. Because again, psychological research suggests that it is after 18 years that you attain sort of cognitive maturity, to be aware of what you are doing, to be aware of the consequences of your action. But again, the argument is that in recent times, children are becoming mature very fast, okay, given the times that we are living in. Therefore, that 18 years need to be brought down. Okay, these are the arguments for amendment. What are the arguments against amendment? Is there something wrong with the amendment? Do you think? No? If the question comes, you will just support the amendment and say that amendment is right because of these reasons. I support the amendment because of these reasons.
Have to balance things.
Not to balance it.
Juvenile is right. Juvenile is right violation. He has to be treated in actually is a juvenile.
The rights of the juvenile, the rights of the child. Okay.
Future will be compromised. All the opportunities will be compromised.
Definitely.
these sentence, then usually whatever the career options, whatever the atmosphere of the society in particular environment will be changed for that particular person. So the career perspectives will be reduced as compared to the normal environment.
They get a new career in crime. Will make their actually
You cannot be the career, sir.
it is a career.
Yes.
Organized crime is a career.
No, sir. Because just few days before the report came, Supreme Court given that particular article, the criminals are becoming politicians. So that can be a prospective career.
Yeah, I was just
So the system that the crime done are utilized at the time during that crime it was aware of it. The assessment is proper or not. So this is the one of the challenges that at the time of crime, the students are
they were aware of the consequences. They were
and that assessment process is correct or not, that is also a challenge. Because in maximum cases, the crime are basically influenced. Whereas attached is they influenced by the people who are doing crime or they take the advantage of their age and they influence them to do that particular crime. So that one challenge is there, assessment challenge is there. So that assessment is going to be in a proper channel or not.
yes, that is an issue. Okay, anything else?
The thing is that, sir, when the crime is happened, not the particular person, the particular sex has to be always particular sex to be plainly honest. You cannot blame a particular sex. There can be a
You are talking about a particular kind of crime that is crimes against women, you are saying.
not kind of crime against sex. Maybe in a particular, let's take the example of a rape. Okay, so the general condition is what males are.
That's what I'm saying. You are talking when it comes to crimes against women, it is not always the fault of the male.
Yes, so both sides should be considered. So only one cannot be a blame.
नहीं, but यहाँ पर we are not talking about only those. Juvenile crimes include a lot of crimes, theft, robbery, murder. वहाँ पर कोई मेल फीमेल का नहीं है. Rape is just one example where
But as well as females are considered, the approach of the general public are very much biased when the conclusion or when the
you are confusing different things. That is a different issue. I'm understanding your emotions, but that is a different issue. यहाँ पर
that we scenarios maybe in the future that will be taken advantage by the particular sections.
that is already being misused. If any law is there, it could be misused. Dowry Prohibition Act is being misused. Domestic Violence Act is being misused to file false cases. It's a different issue. यहाँ पर उस issue में.
Sense of deterrence, which is the main object of this criminal justice, would not be achieved probably
Why?
among those 16 to 18 years, because they would not be matured then.
They will not be mature.
By putting them into adults and increasing the punishment, the deterrence, sense of deterrence would not be promoted among those 16 to 18 years, since they are not matured to understand.
They won't think independently. They have to influence the policy.
So sense of deterrence, they have it.
Okay. So first of all, try to understand the root causes. Why juveniles are committing crimes? Yeah, did they learn the crime when they were born?
It depends on the environment, social media, the radios,
Social media and pornography is just one part. That is not the figure. Society, socio-economic reasons are the root causes. Poverty, destitution, unemployment. Okay. Again, research suggests that most of the people say who commit such offences such as rape, okay, they themselves have been the victim of sexual abuse in their childhood. I'm talking about males, not females. Okay. So they themselves were victims of sexual abuse in their childhood, and then they have developed a very distorted personality. I understand. So again, when you have to understand root causes, you have to analyze the socio-economic conditions, the kind of environment in which they have been brought up. Okay, poverty, unemployment. Again, data suggests that around 80% of the juveniles who commit crimes, okay, they are not even matric pass, as in they are not 10th pass, and their family income is less than 1 lakh per annum. So it shows that a particular section of the society, they are more vulnerable to commit those crimes. So essentially it shows that socio-economic factors are the root cause of juvenile crimes. Okay, so we need to understand why they are committing those crimes. That is the first thing, instead of just increasing the punishment.
So, the socio-economic factors are the root cause. For example, now another case comes that children belonging to higher classes or very good economic status, they are more indulged into drug activities, consuming drug and each and everything. Recently, last year also, an incident happened that a millionaire kid or a diplomat kid consumed some drugs and he got accidentally and he jumped from the terrace and died.
So those are not juvenile crimes. Those are activities of self-destruction. You are not committing a crime against somebody. You are not consuming drugs. If you are consuming drugs and then harming somebody else, then it becomes a juvenile crime.
So now the definition you said to us that heinous crime, any punishment which for 7 years and above, it is considered as a heinous crime. And it is same for this your
drug. I don't think drug possession or drug consumption is
any year, I think so.
It will depend on the nature of the drug. अगर कोई बहुत prohibited drug है तो फिर okay, but generally when we talk of heinous crimes, we do not, these are not activities that generally heinous crimes, kidnapping, murder, extortion, rape, etc. Okay, generally it is talked in that sense. The fact that the point that you are trying to highlight is that many times socio-economic factors are not the root cause. Even people from well-off background might be commit some heinous offences. Okay, those are exceptions. Laws are not made for exceptions. Laws are made for the norm.
The actions which are bringing some distortion to society, for example, these acts of rape, theft, are
against somebody else.
Deviance, are creating some deviance that we consider as a deviance. But in this case,
in the context of juvenile crimes, we talk of those crimes.
Those crimes.
Not crimes of suicide or drug consumption or something which you are doing to harm yourself. Those are also crimes. But generally, हम लोग जब juvenile crimes का बात करते हैं, those are not the areas we focus on. First is this. Second is the argument that there has been a lot of increase in juvenile crimes in recent times. Again, be very clear about the facts. You know the facts. What was the juvenile crime rate earlier? What is the juvenile crime rate now? In 2005, juvenile crime rate was 1%. As in, juvenile crimes was 1% of the total crimes. In 2015, it is just 1.2%. So, ये जो मीडिया में ये जो प्रोपेगेंडा होता है कि जुवेनाइल क्राइम्स बहुत बढ़ गए हैं, है ना, कि सारे रेप मर्डर सारे जुवेनाइल्स कर रहे हैं, this is actually incorrect. So, juvenile crimes have not increased substantially. In 10 years, it has increased by 0.2%, and that too, this increase can be attributed to natural increase in the population of juveniles. And even within juvenile crimes, heinous offences, rape, murder, kidnapping, etc., is less than 5% of the total offences. Within 1.2%, heinous offences is less than 5%. So, first of all, you have actually incorrect that juvenile crimes have increased considerably. Now they are being reported more. Now media is highlighting them more. Okay, that is the first thing. Secondly, out of all these three objectives, reformation is the most important objective of the criminal justice delivery system. The objective is that the person, revenge, again, a criminal justice delivery system should not be based on revenge. उसने ये किया है तो उसको फांसी पे लटका दो, give him death sentence. A society, a civilized society cannot be based on revenge. The objective should be reformation. Now when you start trying juveniles as adults and start sending them to regular jails, have you seen a jail? Have you seen a jail? So our jails are such that nobody can reform there. You come out as a more hardened criminal. The conditions are such. है ना?
That's the place where you can organize a crime.
Where you can,
Organize a crime.
basically you develop your social networks, है ना? That's what I'm saying. Plus, apart from these things, there is a lot of like they are physically abused, sexually abused. That is the issue with our criminal justice delivery system. Reformation that is one of the most important objectives. At present, our system is not able to achieve that. So we need reforms in our jails, how our jails function. Okay, what are the conditions in which inmates have to live?
We are going to also include the condition.
Yeah. So if the juveniles are sent to regular jails, they would come out as more hardened criminals. So that objective of reformation won't be achieved. Okay. What would have been done, or what should have been done? The juvenile homes or the shelter homes, they should have been reformed. See, at present, they were not functioning effectively. So children who were coming out of juvenile homes, say after 3 years spending in juvenile homes, they were again committing crimes. Why they were committing crimes? Again, even in juvenile homes, the condition was not conducive for reformation. Even in juvenile homes, they were being abused, or they were not being psychologically counseled. See, again, reformation is a very complex thing. You need a number of things. You need psychological support, you need socio-economic support for reforming as a better person. Again, our juvenile homes, our shelter homes do not have those conditions. Recently, what happened in Bihar, that shelter home. Those are the things that happened in our shelter homes. How would anybody come out as a reformed person? Now, that was not a juvenile home, that was a general shelter home which was run by an NGO. But even in government juvenile homes, that is the condition. And not just girls, even boys are physically abused. Okay. So nobody can come out as a better person after staying in those places.
So what is the root cause of this?
Root cause is governance failure. We are not able to run our institutions. The institutions है, juvenile homes हैं, we are not able to run them efficiently. They are not run by IS officers. They are the bureaucracy is involved. We will discuss what are the problems with our bureaucracy. Anyway, so again, the objective of reformation would not be achieved. Okay, so instead of making, see again, in criminal justice delivery system, more than the quantum of punishment, it is the certainty and swiftness of punishment that creates more deterrence. It's a very important thing that you need to understand. More than the quantum of punishment. It is not the punishment 7 साल का या 10 साल का है. It is the certainty and swiftness कि कितना quickly punishment मिलता है आपको. That is more important. Are you understanding? So, for example, death penalty. You can get a question on death penalty also. Death penalty का क्या? What is the argument for death penalty? It will create deterrence. Okay. However, it is not the quantum of punishment. It is the certainty and swiftness. If I am certain that if I do something wrong, I will be punished, and I will be punished within 1 year or 2 years. है ना? अभी present क्या है? It takes 15 to 20 years for the disposal of a case, and even after that, you can keep on appealing.
Very recent case. Incident happened in 2001. Two persons were accused of rape case, and after this 18 years, this case has come that they were innocent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, it is the certainty and swiftness of punishment that is more of a deterrent. So, just increasing the punishment or trying them as adults is not going to create deterrence. What we need is reforms in our criminal justice delivery system, reforms in police, judiciary, etc., so that cases are disposed of quickly. At present, 3 crore cases are pending in Indian courts. 3 crore cases, can you imagine? And it takes on an average 15 to 20 years to dispose of a criminal case. So what deterrence will it create? criminals have more faith in the criminal justice delivery system than innocent people, है ना, because they know कि कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, जो होगा 15-20 years बाद होगा, तब तक I would be out on bail, okay, I have the money, and even after 15-20 years I'll keep on appealing. District court से मुझे क्या करना है, high court, then I go Supreme Court, then I'll file a review petition. Okay, so that is our criminal justice delivery system. It does not create deterrence. If you want to create deterrence, reform our criminal justice delivery system instead of increasing punishment. Yeah, even death penalty में भी same argument you can give. Death penalty देने से फायदा नहीं है. You give 15 years punishment or 20 years punishment only, but ensure that the guilty is punished within 1 year or 2 years. That will be more of a deterrence rather than giving death penalty after 20 years. Do you understand? Even internationally, if you see, in US there are different states, okay, and different states have their own laws. They have their own constitution, they have their own laws because it's a pure federation. So in US, in some states, juveniles are tried as adults. In some states they are tried as adults, and the experience of those states have shown that in those states, the percentage of repeat offenders are more. That is, juveniles who are tried as adults, they come out and they again commit crimes. Again, what is the percentage of repeat offenders? It is one of the important parameters to assess the effectiveness of the system. कि बाहर आने के बाद हम फिर से कुछ कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. So internationally, it has been observed that the percentage of repeat offenders is more if juveniles are tried as adults. So these are the arguments against. Again, in the examination, see, whenever I am discussing any issue, I am not going to say what is right, what is wrong. That is up to you. What stand you want to take in the examination. I am just going to highlight what are the arguments for, what are the arguments against. Final stand, you all are adults, you can take a stand. In UPSC, again, be very clear, there is no right answer or wrong answer. Till the time you are able to justify yourself. Don't think you have to support it or you have to oppose it. Use your brain, use your judgment. Arguments for are there, arguments against are there, take a stand. Okay? But highlight both the sides of the picture always. And do not just write, yes, I believe in the amendment because of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? UPSC does not want to see that. UPSC wants to see whether you have a balanced personality or not, whether you are aware of all the sides of the issue or not. Okay? So, avoid extreme opinions on any issue, always. Balanced, golden mean, madhyam marg. Okay? और अगर अभी नहीं है तो start developing, start thinking in a very balanced way. And otherwise, even in the interview, always have to give balanced answers. They will try to provoke you. They will try to see whether you have extreme opinions or not. And you don't have to fall in that trap. So you have to change your personality right from the beginning. That's why the preparation of prelims, means an interview has to be done right from the beginning. What people do? They start preparing for interview after the mains result come out. They start preparing for mains after the prelims result come out. Again, most of you would be appearing next year. So this entire year you should just focus on mains, not on prelims. Your UPSC preparation is all about mains preparation. Prelims is just an elimination exam. Prelims marks are not added anywhere. It is just to eliminate the non-serious candidates. That's it. 8 lakh people have applied just to select 10,000, 12,000 people. So UPSC, whether you qualify or not, or your rank depends on your mains performance. So in the beginning, your entire focus should be on mains preparation. If you do your mains preparation well, 80% of the prelims would be covered. And the static part is common. History, geography, polity, culture, all these things are common. Prelims में ऐसा नहीं है कि you have to study separate thing and mains में separate. So cover the static portion first. GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4. 80% of the prelims would be covered. The remaining 20%, which is prelim specific preparation, which is exclusively for prelims, which is not relevant for mains. That can be done 2 months before prelims. 2 months is more than enough for doing that. Do not, abhi you have started your preparation or whenever you have started, you are going to give next year exam. This entire year your focus should be GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4 and your optional. Optional is the most important. Okay, by this year end you should complete this. By next year you should only do revision and answer writing. And then prelims, 2 years before prelims, start your prelims preparation as in prelims specific portion. Already 80% would already be covered if you have done your mains preparation well. History, geography, polity, economy, ये सब तो आप पढ़ ही लीजिएगा mains. Those portion is common for mains. Clear? So many people I have seen that they prepare for prelims, then they wake up after the prelims result come out. The period between prelims and mains should just be used for revision and answer writing, not for studying mains. The study for mains or the preparation for mains should be done beforehand, before the prelims. Clear? Okay, so this is juvenile justice. Ethics of prohibition. If any question comes on prohibition, you have joined today. Okay. So yesterday was the first class. You can take the recording of the class from there. Okay. If you have any questions or any doubts regarding what has happened yesterday or even today, whatever we have discussed, then we can sit together and I can clarify your doubts. Okay. First go through the recordings. Okay. Right now we are discussing applied ethics, basically the application of ethics. Okay. So, abhi we were discussing Juvenile Justice Act. Have you heard of Juvenile Justice Act? You have given UPSC here?
I got prelims.
You wrote prelims this year. You are not giving mains. So you will be giving prelims again next year. This was your first attempt? Okay. So, we just discussed Juvenile Justice Act and what are the issues in Juvenile Justice Act. Okay. Then ethics of prohibition. Prohibition, you understand? Yeah. So ban on sale and consumption of liquor. Which states in India have prohibition? Gujarat and Kerala has partial prohibition. In fact, today only I watched the video. There was a huge line, half a kilometer line. People were standing outside wine shops after the floods. They are very sad. They want to drink alcohol. Anyway, so Kerala is partial, not full. Partial prohibition. Bihar, in fact, Bihar has the most draconian prohibition law that can happen. Or Bihar, Gujarat, and some of the northeastern states also have prohibition. Nagaland, Mizoram. Their traditional tribal drinks are allowed, but not liquor. So if any question comes on prohibition, say you are the secretary or you are the principal advisor to the chief minister and you have to decide whether to introduce a prohibition law in your state or not. A case study comes or even theory question comes. Then basically you'll have to highlight again both the sides. Arguments for prohibition, arguments against prohibition, and then a balanced conclusion, balanced stand. So what are the arguments for prohibition?
Prohibition of liquor.
Liquor, only liquor we are talking about. When we say prohibition, it means liquor. Okay. Prohibition means ban on sale and consumption of liquor. So yes, what are the arguments for prohibition? जो अलग-अलग states they introduce prohibition. Why do they introduce it? What is their logic? What are their arguments?
Health aspect is one, life aspect.
So, economic, social aspect, the particular on the generated by the person is in legal.
Okay, so people waste their money on drinking liquor.
So the other person of the family members become waste.
Okay,
Accidents.
or
Accidents.
accidents. So this is what we are saying.
The first, if you take the example, the prohibition is the root cause for prohibition is different for different states.
Okay. Okay.
For example, for Bihar, social factor and economical factor are the main things. For Gujarat, religious values and customary values are important.
Okay.
So the provision varies from state to state.
But in general,
In general, the first we say that economics, we say a major term belong to rural section and they are not economically sound. And the skill path for them is use of liquor. So
they waste their money, whatever limited income that they earn on drinking liquor.
Their family did privately. And the condition keep on deterring. So that's why it's needed that should be implemented. Second, and an alternative of crime also comes.
So law and order issue.
Law and
We have
order
drinking
issue also.
people create
Yeah.
crimes, and people basically they are involved in crimes, they create law and order issues. Okay. Or which accidents हो गए, then so the general arguments for prohibition, as we have said, law and order, that prohibition will lead to improvement in law and order situation. The poorer strata of the society, they would stop wasting their money on consumption of liquor, which would enhance their quality of living. Okay. There are religious factors also. Some communities do not consider consumption of liquor as appropriate. Okay, so religious and cultural factors are there. Then accidents हो गया, domestic violence is another factor. Okay, because generally it has been shown that especially in villages, even in urban areas, okay, husbands are involved in domestic violence after drinking. Okay. That is also one of the arguments that is given, that prohibition will help in checking incidents of domestic violence.
Violations.
But both that's in favor of political parties. So they would not want to impose prohibition, because alcohol is something that is important for them in elections. So that is not an argument. I mean, that is not the major reason due to which they introduce. What are the arguments against prohibition?
Revenue laws.
Revenue laws. Okay, because alcohol, excise duty on alcohol is one of the biggest sources of state government revenue. Employment and livelihood of people who are involved in the alcohol industry. Right to choose. Yes. That is the most important argument. Article 21. It's violation of right to privacy. Now, right to privacy is a fundamental right. Recently, Supreme Court has given a judgment that right to privacy is a fundamental right. So, what to eat, what to drink, what to wear, it's my personal choice. Okay. Anything else? So again, the most important argument against prohibition is this, right? It's a violation of right to life and personal liberty. It's a violation of right to privacy. Okay. So today the state is saying that don't drink alcohol, for whatever reason. Tomorrow they will say don't smoke. Day after they will say don't eat chicken. It is not good for your health. So again, it's a slippery slope. Yesterday we talked about slippery slope. Once you give that power to the state to decide your lifestyle, what you eat, what you drink, what you wear, then when that state interference, it transforms into authoritarianism, you do not know. Okay, and history is replete with such examples. Okay, so the first argument is this. See, till the time I am drinking within the 4 bounds of my home and I am not creating public nuisance, I am not going outside or creating law and order problem or indulging in domestic violence. Till the time, it should be none of state's business. What I am drinking, what I am eating, what I am wearing, what my sexual preferences are. Okay, ये state का काम नहीं है. Okay. Secondly, again, empirically, if you see, in whichever state's prohibition has been imposed, the outcomes or the envisaged objectives have not been achieved. For example, Gujarat. Gujarat prohibition has been there for a long time. You go to Gujarat, you will find liquor everywhere. So it gives rise to black marketing, bootlegging, and sale of spurious liquor. Spurious means fake liquor, which in turn causes more casualties, which is more harmful. In fact, Bihar this is happening. Every second day you will find news of people dying because of consumption of spurious liquor. Plus, alternate forms of drug abuse it increases. See, people need something. If you do not give them alcohol, or if alcohol is not easily accessible, they will do something or the other. Then other forms of substance abuse, other forms of drug consumption would increase. In fact, again, this is happening in Bihar. Substance abuse, incidents of substance abuse, drug consumption has increased considerably. Okay. So instead of treating alcohol consumption as a moral problem, it should be treated as a health problem. Okay. Empirically, it has, our experience has suggested that prohibition has not worked anywhere. See, in policy making, the golden principle is that if you cannot prevent it, regulate it. जब आप किसी चीज को रोक नहीं सकते हैं, ठीक है, तो बैन मत करिए, you regulate. Okay, you cannot prevent people from drinking alcohol. They will find some ways and means to drink alcohol. And then, if you are banning it, then they will drink spurious alcohol, they will resort to other forms of substance abuse, which will be more dangerous. So regulate it. Regulation is the answer, not banning. See, banning is the most easy solution. As far as the political executive is concerned, banning something is the easiest thing to do. सीधे एक law बना दो, ban कर दो. What is difficult is regulating it, because regulation requires a strong governance system, strong systems and processes. That takes time to build, and that is not visible to the people. है ना? लोगों को क्या दिखता है कि भाई law बना दिया, ban कर दिया, government कुछ कर रही है, government is doing something. Okay, so it is more politically, it is more a lucrative option. Okay, but that is not a sustainable solution. If domestic violence is taking place, then you should have systems and processes in place. अगर आपकी criminal justice delivery system is strong, and if the people who are involved in domestic violence, they are punished quickly, then such incidents would stop. I mean, banning people from drinking alcohol is not the solution. If accidents are taking place, you should have systems and processes in place to ensure that those people who are involved in drunken driving cases, they are punished, and they are punished quickly. Then it would create deterrence for others. Banning something is the easiest solution. Changing your systems and processes and introducing governance reforms is difficult. Okay. Similarly, prostitution. Ethics of prostitution. Again, in a number of countries, prostitution is legal. Netherlands, Thailand. And there have been debates going on whether prostitution should be legalized. Okay, so if a question comes on legalization of prostitution, what are the arguments for, arguments against? What are the arguments against? Why prostitution should not be legalized?
There would be restrict or
Public health. What about public health?
Article
29.
23. Right against human trafficking.
We are not legalizing human trafficking. Prostitution is different from human trafficking.
how the girls are providing prostitution. So this is the main point. Facility is there, selling is there, plus. So this is the it's not their own choice.
Selling
Sunny Leon has entered porn industry by she came from a very affluent background, very well-off family. She entered the porn industry voluntarily as an occupation, as a profession. So the general perception that, see, in many cases that is the reality, but it's not true always. That you are being forced to or there is flesh trade, human trafficking, that is just one part of the problem. Do not confuse prostitution with flesh trade, human trafficking, etc. Those are legal issues.
So I'm saying that, for example, similarly, that ship came into on industry in USA, which is being a developed country.
So you are making a cultural argument.
Cultural
That is a different argument. Human trafficking, flesh trading is a legal issue. Okay? Do not confuse two different things.
So there's
Okay? The argument is that it's against our culture. Okay? It's against our cultural norms. That is a different argument.
they are sold like gested goods.
So commodification of human body will take place. Commodification, you understand? Human body will be treated as a commodity.
Issue with the family system or the marriage system.
Okay, cultural argument. It will destroy our social institutions, our marriage, our family system, destroy those. तो अभी नहीं जाते हैं तो अभी remove तो to these brothels.
So they go, but
तो अभी destroy नहीं होता है family system marriage. So what difference will it make if we legalize it? How it will destroy more as compared to what is happening at present? How?
So prostitution supports marriages. They say that your extramarital affairs will not happen if these options are available.
Go to
Brothers. They say
that is one of
like this.
the even one argument is that crimes against women, rapes, etc. would also reduce.
Reduce.
People have ways of using other alternatives.
Children abuse.
Girl children would be abused. यहाँ पर children
would be brought up.
नहीं तो children won't be there. When we say legalizing prostitution, it does not mean. See again, it's bringing children would be a legal offence. So children won't be allowed to be part of that profession. Anyway, so these are the arguments against. We have the cultural argument, we have the social argument. It's against our culture. It will destroy social institutions such as marriage, family system, etc. और क्या क्या argument दिया हमने? और कोई argument दिया? Commodification of women will take place. Okay. Plus चलो theoretically आप लोग कह रहे हैं कि flesh trading और human trafficking, although it is not correct, वो अभी होता है. Okay. These are the arguments against. Any argument for legalization of prostitution? Yes, moral. It's a very important argument. Livelihood. Article 19. Freedom to carry out any profession. 1921 and 4. और कोई argument? हेल्थ के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कुछ सोच सकते हो पब्लिक हेल्थ पर क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा पब्लिक हेल्थ रिलेटेड इश्यूज क्या होगा will increase no why
It will decrease, sir, because it has been regularized. So this health institutes will be keep on monitoring these issues that if there something is there, we will segregate from this profession. So channelizing will be there. So no health diseases would be prevented. For example, sir, maximum HIV cases are among the truck drivers.
yeah
It's a study also and it's proven also. If you legalize it and the person for the place is going for someone, we would know that she is not having certain sex diseases, so the prevention would be there.
yes so see yes all these are arguments for legalizing prostitution okay so again the bottom line is if you cannot stop it regulate it.
So in sociology, they have studied that this prostitution leads to the saving of a marriage is extramaterial of
That was one of the arguments that you can give as part of
in
arguments
both the things you can write. And for and against also in one part of it you should write.
for against
Against if we
would be in for arguments for legalization
Yes.
against it. Okay.
popular over the 8 or 9% which is not accepted in our society.
What is it? Is it an argument for or against? Again, not acceptable, we have discussed it. It's against our culture. So, cultural argument, we have discussed culture. We are discussing arguments for legalization of prostitution. So, the first argument is what I told you just now. The prostitution, again, prostitution is one of the oldest human occupations. It has been existing since the ancient times. Prostitution or gambling, ये दो चीजें हैं. So, it has existed, it still exists. We all know it exists. ठीक है, दिल्ली में कहाँ होता है, कोलकाता में कहाँ होता है, कानपुर में कहाँ होता है, ठीक है, every day where it exists, we all know it. Even the police and the law enforcement agencies also know about that. Okay, but right now because it is not legal, so the sex workers who are involved or all the people who are involved in that industry, they are exploited. Okay, once you legalize it and you have a regulatory framework, then they won't be exploited. You understand? Second, health. Again, health is one of the major arguments. At present, as I told, that incidents of HIV or STDs are very common amongst sex workers and also amongst the customers, truck drivers being one of the customers. Okay. So again, once you legalize it and regulate it, then regular health checkups could be carried out. Contraceptives could be distributed. And everything would be done in a transparent and accountable manner. So when you legalize prostitution, then there would be registered entities. And with an organized sector की तरह they will operate. Okay, they will be registered entities. All their operations will be subject to monitoring by the government. Okay, they will pay taxes to the government, so additional source of revenue for the government also. Okay. Plus the liberal argument is that they have like I as a human being have the right over my body. What I want to do with my body is my personal choice. Whether I want to sell it, I want to buy it, it's none of your business. It's my body. If I want to use it as a source of livelihood, as a source of money, what is your problem? Do your work. So it is just another livelihood which happens in developed countries. And it's a source of income. Okay. Yeah, so these are the arguments for legalization of prostitution. The biggest argument is the health. Again, do not confuse trafficking. It will in fact help in checking human trafficking. Abhi, because everything takes place in an underground manner. So human trafficking, flesh trading, these things are very common. When everything would be done in a transparent manner, in a regulated manner, then human trafficking, involvement of children in prostitution, all these things can be checked. These are the arguments for. Same argument for betting or gambling. Abhi few days back, the Law Commission has given a recommendation. Record पढ़ते हैं आपको? What did Law Commission say?
They said that gambling in cricket should be allowed as in a shadow way it goes. So if you bring it to mainstream, the revenue generation will be there.
Yeah. So जो prostitution वाला जो argument है वही betting और gambling वाला similar argument. Argument against भी वही similar होता है कि it's against our culture and it will destroy the youth, people will waste money on betting, gambling, etc. Okay, but again the bottom line is कि betting, gambling takes place, not just in sports, everywhere. In fact, betting, gambling is allowed in 2 states in India. It is legal in 2 states, in Goa and Sikkim. Casinos होते हैं. Casino is nothing but gambling, betting. Okay. So in Goa and Sikkim they are legally allowed. In other states they are prohibited. So again, even the Law Commission's argument is the same, that we cannot prevent it, to be better regulate it. Again, it will be an additional source of income for the government. Okay. Plus, it can be ensured that betting or gambling in sports does not translate into match fixing or spot fixing. Betting, gambling would take place in again a transparent and accountable manner, in an organized, regulated manner, and therefore incidents of match fixing or spot fixing can be checked. Yeah. So you can get these questions: ethical issues in prohibition, prostitution, betting, gambling, etc. Okay. ये वाला है. Let us take a break. Let us meet in 10 minutes. We will complete bioethics and then we will start human values.